Hello, Niles, and welcome to another episode of Niles Voice of Business. This series of live interviews will feature local professionals, elected officials, and village representatives in Niles. The impact of COVID-19 on businesses and the economy has changed both our work environment and our day-to-day operations, amongst other things. Today, we are going to be talking with President and CEO of PolyScience, Philip Preston, who's going to be talking to us about how the past couple of months have been going for him. Philip, welcome, and thanks for joining us today for this conversation.
Well, thank you, Chase. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, and I'm so excited to be able to have this conversation with Philip. PolyScience is, kind of the hub of innovation, and their social media is always great, and they're always doing some new things. So excited to be talking with you today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are now?
Well, sure. First I want to start by saying, you're speaking with businesses, and I just wanted to say how much my heart goes out to the countless individuals and businesses that have been really hurt by the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I guess all I can say is, we have to keep up the battle and live to fight another day.
Right. If not now, never.
Yes. So I've been the president of PolyScience since 1982, which was 3 facilities ago in Niles. As a family business, I grew up in the business, working in shipping, assembly, service, sales, and really love the challenges associated with engineering, temperature control products, and also being a vertically integrated U.S. manufacturer.
Wow. And we talked a little bit about the history that you have in Niles. Do you want to tell us, when exactly you started in Niles and give us a little bit of the information you gave to me prior?
Yeah. Well, first I'll go back to, we were founded in 1963 when my father, who was a professor of chemical engineering, decided he wanted to start his own business. We actually started in Evanston and then moved to Niles, right on Grosse Pointe Road. And it was in around 1971, we moved to Niles, and it coincided with the fact that Nixon let the dollar float. And before that, we were just an importer of German lab equipment. And so we realized, well, once Nixon let the dollar float, we realized we could manufacture in the U.S. and be very cost effective. And so we shifted our focus completely to be a manufacturer, and with our focus on liquid temperature control systems.
Okay.
These are the types of units where typical applications are going to be cooling lasers or cooling analytical instruments, bioreactors, distillation systems, or even just basic incubation of a lab sample. And so over the years, we've done numerous projects associated with this liquid temperature control as our core competency. Some really exciting things. For example, we don't really think of it that this technique PCR is polymerase chain reaction, which everyone else knows is, we'll do a DNA test. It's actually a thermal cycling. So you're heating and cooling samples and amplifying the DNA through Taq polymerase enzymes. And we actually built the unit right in Niles that tested OJ's glove.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. We built over 50,000 of those units back in the day. And we've also done some kind of crazy things that, for example, today, if you turn on Iron Chef America or Top Chef, you'll see sous vide cooking. Well, PolyScience pioneered precise temperature cooking. We actually built the very first purpose-built sous vide units right here in Niles. And So you'd see PolyScience units sitting on the shelves of Williams Sonoma, and which was a radical change for us to be in a grocery store, or a retail store in Old Orchard, but also having our products bundled with lasers and electron microscopes and the like. And so our latest innovation really has been our Durachill line of chillers, which is kind of our core market. Cooling apparatus is our core market. And this new unit is, for us, it's a game changer in our field.
And so, could you explain what a Durachiller is? I feel like I might. Hopefully, I'm not alone in not knowing what that is.
Well, a lot of applications generate some heat, whether it's welding or lasers. We always think if a laser shoots a laser beam at a mirror, that 100% of that light energy is actually reflected, but there's about 3% of that energy that's converted to heat. And so all of the mirrors and focusing rings and such in a laser need to be chilled. And so our Durachill line of chillers is recirculating a temperature control fluid, typically water or a glycol water mix, and then we're extracting the heat energy from the laser, and typically you're just blowing it into the room.
Oh, wow.
So we do a lot of refrigeration systems in Niles. We make units that both heat and control, or heat and cool and control. So the Durachill line that we just launched is literally a cool product.
Okay. So I know we talked a little bit about the history and kind of what you guys do at PolyScience, which I feel like is a lot. And you guys are always innovating, like I said, and I'm always excited to see what you guys are doing next. But in terms of innovating and the way that you've positioned yourself these past couple of months, how have you pivoted and kind of kept up with supply and demand, considering these unprecedented times?
Yeah, it certainly has been a challenge. And like many companies, we've had to keep a really close watch on any non-essential expenses. We're certainly, we haven't been immune to the challenges of this pandemic. Right. But I'd say that I'm very fortunate. We've got a really, really strong team, and actually, probably for me, the main objective has been, really keep this team together and focus on that, and then also continuing new product initiatives. I really believe that we have to keep moving forward with new product development, and it's something you can't hit a pause button on. If you're in process on new designs, you can't just stop and then restart them. There's always a really painful lag in the restart. So I think that keeping that moving forward is absolutely essential. But am I putting a new air conditioner on the roof? Not today. I think that you have to have a lot of confidence in the fundamentals of your business, and that there's going to be a light at the end of this tunnel. And it's also extremely important to make sure you're sharing that level of confidence with your entire team. Right. That we have a clear vision. Where are we going to be when we come out the other side of this pandemic?
So in terms of, continuing to move forward and, staying innovative, and then also doing product development, can you tell us about, being an essential business and also American made?
Yeah. To me, that's extremely important. Obviously, I'm a strong believer in U.S. manufacturing, and because our equipment is used in laboratories, a lot of, I mean, if you're growing biological samples,
Okay.
you need liquid temperature control equipment. So in bioreactors, this is a lot of the vaccines are going to be coming from that. So I'm very happy that our products are contributing to the solution. I think that uh, being a U.S. manufacturer means that I think we have to do things a little bit differently than
Mhm.
the just the how cheap can I build it guys.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So in terms of, pivoting and kind of moving forward with product development, what successful changes or resources have you added that you feel, you will continue to utilize moving forward into 2020, 2021?
Well, PolyScience has made a significant investment in the production systems over the last several years. We invested, actually, over the course of the last several years, we've completely changed the production lines in our facility.
Mm,
And a lot of that has been, putting in the automation to allow us to remain cost effective in our global markets, because PolyScience sells everywhere in the world. Our goal is always in improving process control, uh, and stay very nimble. And,
mhm.
and while this isn't a recent change necessarily, uh, we continue to have a very, very strong focus on quality and innovation. I believe these are the areas where our products will offer a better value proposition
Mhm.
overall, to our customers, and really differentiate us from the competition. I don't believe there's really any future in trying to be the cheapest manufacturer out there. You just have to be the best.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like my family always taught me, it costs money to make money, So,
Yeah.
um, so in talking about your facilities and the locations that you have at Niles, what are some safety measures that you've had to implement in your facilities to keep your employees safe?
Um, well, first of all, we started out with a large percentage of the staff. If you could work remotely, you work remotely. But our production team, of course, that's another story.
Yeah.
So, what we ended up doing was, we split the entire production team into two shifts. And so that way we could continue production and maintain the proper social distancing.
Okay.
Also, our HR department did a wonderful job and established things like temperature monitoring before you enter the building, and providing all the necessary PPE to the team. We also increased, of course, the cleaning of the facility, and additionally made sure every department had uh, disinfecting cleaners, so that uh, they they're pitching in to help keep the team safe. And you know, very happy that we could remain open,
Right.
and very proud of the fact that we have done this, kept people safe, and proud of the fact that we're an essential manufacturer.
There we go. Yeah. No, that's an awesome thing. And like Alicia and I have always said is, you know your customers, you also know your employees best. So, setting who's going to work remote and who's going to be working in the facility, and then how that's going to operate, you know that best, and you're the one that's going to listen. So sounds to me like you've listened pretty well and gotten things planned out pretty efficiently, which is awesome to hear. I just heard that you won two awards, one in the laser industry And then you also won the other one in a innovations. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Well, the laser industry was for the new line of chillers that we just launched. And, we approached this design in a very, very different way. And I think brought a lot of innovation through solving problems that customers had just become accustomed to.
Right.
And so the Innovation Award was from Laser Focus World Magazine. And then I think it was last week, I won the Champions of Sous Vide Award from the International Sous Vide Association, which was, it's quite an honor. It's always nice when your work gets a little bit of recognition.
Definitely. Well deserved, but definitely. Seems to me, from what I've heard, is you've got a couple of these awards in your back pocket, which is a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, actually, there have been countless awards that we've won for innovation, and a lot of this has been, I think that view of not necessarily where you always approach your R&D efforts and product launch efforts based upon the financial model, but because you think it's really cool and it's the right thing to do.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, it seems to me like the hard work has paid off. So your website mentions PolyScience's dedication to being environmentally friendly. I wanted to see if you could expand on that for us in terms of, your product and your company.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's a very personal thing, actually. I've always considered myself having a very strong commitment to the environment, and but well, in the last several years, we formalized that commitment through our ISO 14000 certification.
Okay.
And we've continuously increased production while reducing our energy consumption significantly. And we've also utilized some new refrigeration technology that reduces the amount of refrigerant gas used in our systems, and therefore our systems now have lower global warming potential. And I had mentioned earlier that we had put a significant investment in new production systems. And those new production systems, a large piece of that is to allow us to have the transition to natural refrigerants, where we virtually eliminate global warming potential in the refrigeration circuit. So we're very, very excited. We're going to start rolling out products with that new refrigerant I think we're probably on target for first quarter of 21.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing more about that. Personally, I've heard that you have a home farm. Is that true?
I do. Yeah. Actually, I think one of the kids went to school, and the teacher was asking them about, different things like pets and such. And they said, well, we have about 18,020 pets. And the teacher looked at her with a great deal of skepticism. When she said, okay, there's 16 chickens, 7 bunny rabbits, 2 barn cats, a hamster, fish, a dog, a house cat, a bearded dragon, and,
oh, wow.
and 2 beehives that have 18,000 bees in them.
Oh, wow. So you do some beekeeping as well. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I have a garden that is quite well. It's a large urban garden. So just the vegetable section is about 75 by 175.
Wow.
through that, I can produce over 5 tons of food, and we take that to the food bank, local food bank here. There's also 21 fruit trees and grapes, and I'm
Wow.
never bored.
I was gonna say I have over 100 houseplants, and even that and a cat, I'm full to the max. I can't imagine a whole garden and a farm as well. But coming from the South, that just brings joy to my heart to hear. So always great to hear that, and glad to hear that you're also donating to the local food bank. That is always a phenomenal thing, and that goes to say. Um, so lastly, I wanted to see if you could just tell us the best places to find PolyScience products, and where to find some more information about you and PolyScience.
Well, sure. So obviously, the best place would be www.polyscience.com. But also, we tend to have some very, very creative materials on our social media pages. So, look for us on Facebook and Instagram, and of course LinkedIn would be the more business approach. But we're always doing some really fun and exciting things in the marketing side. As a matter of fact, right now, our first virtual trade show is happening in the cannabis field, and we're always doing something fun.
Yeah, I saw that on social media, and I know we've talked a little bit about that, and that is just for me, that's groundbreaking. It's playing a game while being professional and working. You can't get any better than that. So the last question I'd like to leave off on. I'm a big foodie guy. Where's your favorite place to eat in Niles?
Boy, that's a tough one. I really do like Graziano's. I think they do a wonderful job, and
Yeah.
So I'd say that's probably the top of my list right now.
I'd have to agree with you on that one, but I definitely like all the restaurants in Niles.
Oh,
But Graziano's has some good pizza, I have to admit.
yeah.
Well, Philip, thank you so much for joining me today and taking some time out of your busy schedule. Hopefully, we didn't take too much time from the garden, and we can keep some things going. And we hope to see you around as we move forward, all right?
Well, thank you, Chase, and all the best.
All right, and you have a good one, and thanks for tuning in, Niles. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye now.